What's going on, guys? It's Hayden, and I am bringing you the Week 6 recap for the Aqua division of the ISL Gen 6 Throwback season. We have a pretty big standing shakeup with just 2 weeks left, and we have a sneaky team trying to climb back from the bottom all the way back into the playoffs, as well as a huge shakeup in a couple of the awards. So let's go ahead and get into this video. Up first, we have my Chicago White Squawks taking off the Aquatic City Boomers. I'm trying to stay undefeated. The Boomers are trying to stay in playoff contention. And with that, the White Squawks have brought Landris T, Scizor, Starmie, Porygon 2, Vileplume, and Conkeldurr, and the Aquatic City Boomers have brought Tyranitar, Mega Gardevoir, Gliscor, Tangrowth, Rotom Heat, and Feraligatr. And let's just jump straight into this battle. We continue our Cinderella season as my Chicago White Squawks do win 1-0 in a very, very tightly contested battle, which came down to Scizor and Mega Gardevoir in the end. Basically, I knew that if Mega Gardevoir got a sub up at any point, then it was probably going to be game over. That's why I sacked Conkeldurr to it around mid game, and that's why I stayed in with Starmie and just started firing off Flash Cannon, because I don't really care about differential, just care about getting taking care of the battle and getting the win. But with that, let's get into the knockouts. As for my White Squawks, Scizor and Vileplume pick up 2. Then Starmie and Conkeldurr pick up 1 apiece. Then for the Boomers, Mega Gardevoir and Rotom Heat picked up 2. And for Alligator picked up the other knockout for that team. But with that, let's go ahead and jump into battle number 2. And in battle number 2, we have 2 teams at 2 and 3 heading into this week and fighting for one of the last playoff spots. Up first, we have the OKC Thunderous, who have brought Cobalion, Mamoswine, Crobat, Mew, Mega Charizard X, and Azumarill. And then on the other side, we have the Lafayette Litwick, who have Kabutops, Roselia, Girder, Crocodile, Thundurus T, and Magnezone. So let's go ahead and jump into this battle. The Lafayette Litwicks make one step closer to clinching a playoff spot as they pick up the 1-0 victory over the OKC Thunderous. For the knockouts, you are looking at Tornadus T picking up 2, Roselia, Crocodile, and Magnezone all picking up 1 apiece. Then on the Thunderous side, Crobat did try to bring it back, but it did fall just short. but it did end up bringing in 3 knockouts for itself, and then Cobalion and Mamoswine picked up 1 apiece. And here's our third battle, which is basically an elimination game in Week 6 between the Portland Lechonks and the Paris St. Gengar. The Lechonks brought Shaman Sky, Mega Lopunny, Dusclops, Tentacruel, Garchomp, and Honchkrow, while the St. Gengar brought Excadrill, Mega Tyranitar, Gengar, Slowbro, Electros, and Delphox. Let's jump in and see what this elimination game had to offer. Coming out on top are the Portland Lechonks with the 3-0 win over the Paris St. Gengar. This is, like I was mentioning before the battle, pretty huge, as this was basically a elimination game, as Paris St. Gengar does drop to 1-5, and the Portland Lechonks rise up to 2-4, just 1 game out of the playoffs, give or take differential. As for the knockouts, on the Lechonk side, Mega Lopunny and Dusclops picked up 2 apiece, while Shaman Sky and Honchkrow picked up 1 apiece. Then on Paris St. Gengar's side, Gengar picked up 2 knockouts, and then Mega Tyranitar picked up the other. And moving on to battle number 4, we have another battle with huge playoff implications, as this game actually decided who was the 6th seed and who was the 8th seed going into Week 7. As you can see, the Wales Warlords picked up the 4-0 victory over the Detroit Litleos, and the Wales Warlords have bounced back after a couple of rough weeks to regain a playoff spot. The Wales Warlords brought Hitmontop, Heatran, Celebi, Greninja, Zapdos, and Mega Garchomp, while the Litleos brought Talonflame, Mega Alakazam, Cryogonal, Amoonguss, Rotom-Wash, and Ursaring. As for the knockouts, the Warlords had Heatran picking up 2, then Celebi, Greninja, Zapdos, and Mega Garchomp all picked up 1, and then the Litleos had Cryogonal and Rotom-Wash picking up 1 apiece. And here we have the 3 seed Utah Wees falling 4-0 to the 2nd seed Dallas Victory Stars. The Utah Wees did battle through several missed Toxics. I think Umbreon missed, I believe it was 4 during the battle, then Golbat also missed a Heat Wave. But the Dallas Victory Stars did take full advantage of this and widen that differential out as much as they could. Getting a +4 over a top-seeded team this late is huge, especially for playoff seeding. And as for knockouts, Aegislash, Togekiss, and Nidoqueen all picked up 2 apiece. Then on the Utah Wii side, Mega Mawile did its best to shorten that differential spread by picking up 2 late game knockouts. And then finally, we unfortunately had another forfeit win this week, as the Wi-Fi Worry Seeds do pick up the 3-0 forfeit win over the Boston Blades. That does affect playoffs a lot, as I believe that puts Boston now on the bubble, as I'm about to jump into standings, and the Wi-Fi Worry Seeds are back into the top 3. But enough teasing the standings, let's go ahead and look at where it's at after week 6. And as you can see with our win this week, we continue on our undefeated season, as the Chicago White Squawks are 6-0 plus 22 differential. Then right behind us are the 2 seed Dallas Victory Stars at 5-1 plus 12. Right behind them, 2 4-2 teams with the 3 seed Wi-Fi Worry Seeds at plus 12 and the 4 seed Utah Wiis at plus 3. Then to round out the playoffs, we have 3 teams at 3-3 and similar differential, with the 5 seed Boston Blades now at plus 2, the 6 seed Wales Wailords at plus 1, and the 7 seed Lafayette Litwicks at -1. And then right behind them, we do have the 8 and 9 and 10 seed teams all at 2 and 4. At 8, we have the Detroit Litleos at 2 and 4 -3. And just remember, they do have losses against the Wailord and the Lafayette Litwicks, so they do not hold the tiebreaker over either of those teams. Then as the 9 seed, the OKC Thunderous, 2 and 4 -8. They do not hold the tiebreaker over the Lafayette Litwicks, and I believe the Boston Blades. Then the 10 seed Portland Lechonks with 2 straight wins, getting them back to 2 and 4 -10. They are quickly climbing up the standings and looking to sneak right back into the playoffs with 2 more wins. They possibly could, depending on how their differential ends up. Then for the last 2 teams, we have 11 seed Ecruteak City Boomers at 1 and 5 -14. Then the 12 seed Paris St. Gengar at 1 and 5 -16. And for the second straight week, our Arceus Award leader, Mega Scizor of the Wi-Fi Worry Seeds, does not gain any ground, as they stay at 9 and 2, and we have a newcomer in second with Mega Mawile of the Utah Wiis standing there at 8 and 4, nipping at Mega Scizor's heels. So it should be an exciting race for the last 2 weeks of the season. And talking about exciting races, the Lugia Award has not been that, as Amoonguss of the Detroit Litleos has made sure to pull away from the pack and not let them back in sight, as they have 31 hits taken so far this season. But we do have a newcomer in second, Umbreon of the Utah Wiis, coming in with 20 hits taken. As for the Mew Award, our best support mon, we have a new leader led by your Chicago White Squawks in Landorus Therian with 13. He has been racking up U-turns with pivoting and stealth rocks with hazards, and it's been a great and important piece to this team. And then in second place now is Fortress of Paris St. Gengar with 12. And wrapping up our awards is the Cosmog Award for Best Low Tier Mon in the ISL. My Mega Houndoom of the Chicago White Squawks stays on top at 6 and 0, not having a knockout since week 1. And then in second place, we do have a newcomer in Crobat of the OKC Thunderous, now at 6 and 5. with a ton of mods right behind it. And that is going to wrap up our Week 6 recap for the Aqua division of the ISL Gen 6 Throwback season. We are 2 weeks away from finalizing our playoff spots, along with 2 weeks away from revealing our ISL Gen 6 Throwback all-season teams. Please make your predictions down below of who you think should be on those all ISL teams. And as always, thanks for watching.